Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really strange. It centers around this old audio recording,
Mm,
and it kind of pushes the boundaries,
yeah,
between what we can explain and, well, things that are just deeply unsettling. We're talking about the unknown.
definitely. And we've got some fascinating sources today. Maybe disturbing is a better word. The main one is this reel-to-reel tape. It's from 1976,
Right.
recorded by Dr. Elliot Brand. He was up at the Polaris Research Station, way up there, northern Yukon.
And then layered on top of that, there are these newer
Yeah,
recordings from the hosts of that show, Dark Echoes.
exactly. They somehow got hold of Dr. Brand's original tape, and the way they got it was, well, it was really odd.
Yeah, that part of the story alone is just bizarre, isn't it?
Mhm.
It wasn't mailed or anything. It just
Mhm.
appeared on their doorstep, an old tape reel.
Just sitting there with a sticky note on it. All it said was, "Find him."
Okay, so right away, you know this isn't your typical ghost story. Something's off.
Way off. So Dr. Brand, his actual research up there was initially about geomagnetic shifts.
The Earth's magnetic field, how it moves around and stuff.
Correct. But then, about 2 weeks before he made the recording we're talking about, something else grabbed his attention. A signal.
A repeating signal.
Every single night, like clockwork. 2.17 a.m. Same frequency every time.
And this is where it gets, well, it gets pretty creepy fast.
Yeah.
Because the Dark Echoes guys, they got curious.
Mm-hmm.
They actually tried tuning into that frequency. It was 112.4 megahertz.
Yeah.
They found it on an old radio, but they found it, still active.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just static.
No, they heard something. Which brings us to the first big mystery. Dr. Brand mentioned a voice started showing up on his recordings right after that repeating signal began.
Yeah.
But the really strange part, when the Dark Echoes hosts listened live to 112.4 megahertz, they heard a voice too.
Okay.
But it was a different voice. One that isn't on Brand's original tape from 76.
Hold on. So this isn't just about an old recording.
Yeah.
That frequency. It's still broadcasting something now.
It seems like it. And according to the Dark Echoes team, that frequency, it's not supposed to be in use. It's not allocated.
And they couldn't find where it was coming from. No local tower, nothing.
Nothing. No detectable local source. So, yeah, what is that signal? Where is it coming from?
Okay, let's go back to Brand's original tape.
Yeah.
There's this one entry, July 27th. He describes something really unnerving happening right after the signal.
Right. So on the recording, after the signal does its thing, you hear Brand's voice. He sounds strained. He says, "Don't answer the door."
And then, right after he says that, knocking.
Mm-hmm. 3 sharp knocks, clear as anything on the tape.
But the thing is, he was working alone in a lab, right? Filled with equipment. There wasn't like an outside door right there.
No, he thought maybe it was someone else from the station down the hall, so he went out to check.
Yeah.
Hallway was completely empty, nobody there.
Okay. Weird, but maybe explainable.
Yeah.
Except for what happened next.
Exactly. This is the part that, well, it's chilling. He then heard his own voice.
His own voice.
Yeah. Coming from the empty hallway, repeating the exact words he'd just recorded.
Don't answer the door.
Echoing back at him. I mean, imagine that. It sounds like reality itself was just breaking down for him.
And the story just gets darker. Because only 3 days after he made that recording, Dr. Brand vanished.
And not just him, his entire research team, gone.
The station, Polaris, was found abandoned. But the way they found it, it's disturbing.
Very. The power was still on. There was food half-eaten on the table.
It wasn't like they packed up and left. It looks
Yeah.
like they just stopped
They made it
action.
abruptly, yeah. And then there's a detail about the doors.
Ah, right. The scratches. This part always gets me. Investigators found scratches on the inside of the doors.
Inside, not outside. Which suggests, doesn't it, that whoever was inside was trying to keep something in.
Not keep something out. That flips the whole script. It's not about a threat getting in. Maybe it was about something already there, try to get out or being kept in.
It's a deeply unsettling detail, and it adds this whole other layer of just unease.
And there's another thing that adds a weird kind of weight to all this. The Dark Echoes hosts mentioned where Brand's tape apparently came from.
Government archives.
Yeah. So this isn't just some campfire story someone found in an attic. There's some kind of official record, or at least it was logged somewhere official. That gives it this unsettling credibility.
It does. It implies somebody, somewhere, knew about this incident, documented it, even if they didn't understand it.
And the Dark Echoes team, they didn't stop there. They tried to clean up the audio on Brand's tape, enhance it.
Right. Pull out anything hidden in the background noise, the static.
Hmm.
They found fragments, little bits of speech.
And these fragments are just cryptic and chilling whispers almost.
Things like, we're at her waiting.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
you brought them.
Also just single words. Stay. Speak.
And that phrase again, don't leave.
Yeah.
It sounds like multiple voices maybe.
It does seem to imply more than one presence, and that phrase, you brought them, I mean, what does that suggest?
Yeah, like Brand's work. Or maybe even just tuning into that signal. Did that somehow attract something? Or let something in?
Yeah.
Like he was responsible.
It definitely suggests some kind of consequence linked to his actions, his research there. It's a very ominous fragment.
So the story doesn't just end in 1976 with Brand's disappearance. The Dark Echoes hosts.
Yeah.
They started experiencing weird stuff themselves.
Yeah, ever since they started digging into Brand's tape and that frequency, it's like the mystery itself started, I don't know, bleeding into their lives.
Reaching out, maybe? And what's really striking is how some of their experiences kind of echo Brand's situation.
They talked about flickering lights in their studio, equipment acting up for no reason.
Which, okay, you hear that stuff in ghost stories all the time. But when it's happening to the people investigating this story,
It adds a different dimension, doesn't it? It makes you wonder if they've gotten tangled up in whatever this phenomenon is, if it's somehow contagious.
and then there's the dream. This may be the weirdest part of their experience.
The shared dream, yes. Both hosts. They had the exact same identical dream.
Describe it again.
They're in this circular hallway, endless doors, but every door they open just leads back to the same room they started in.
A loop.
A loop. And the whole time there's this whisper, don't answer the door.
The exact same dream. For both of them, independently.
Yeah.
That's more than just coincidence, surely.
It feels like it. Is it some kind of like psychological impact from focusing so intensely on this disturbing material? Or is it something external influencing them?
It really blurs that line, doesn't it? Between studying the mystery and becoming part of it.
It does. And it makes you ask, could simply listening, could focusing on this frequency make you vulnerable somehow, like it did with Bran?
And the way their own recording ends? The Dark Echoes investigation recording. It's just abrupt and chilling.
Yeah, they capture some sound in the studio they can't explain. They confirm, we're alone in here.
Right. And then fog.
Visible fog appearing inside the glass of their sealed recording booth window.
Like condensation, like someone breathed on the glass.
Yeah.
But from the inside where no one was.
It's profoundly disturbing because it's physical. It's not just audio anymore or a dream. It's something manifesting physically where it shouldn't be able to.
And their final words on that recording, it wasn't just a sign-off. It was a warning aimed at anyone who might find their work. Aimed at, well, you listening now.
It was stark. They said, we told you not to listen, and if you found this, destroy it. Do not broadcast the frequency.
They called it a door. It's not just a signal, it's a door. And once you open it, it doesn't close.
Yeah.
Ever.
And then that final direct plea, it's incredibly chilling. If you hear knocking tonight, do not open your door.
No matter what it sounds like.
Even if it sounds like us. Injecting themselves into the warning like that, wow, it leaves you with this awful sense of dread.
So, yeah, we're left with a pile of just deeply unsettling questions. What was that signal Brand found? What actually happened to him and the team up there at Polaris?
Who, or maybe what, is speaking on that frequency? Back then, and maybe even now. And the knocking, that message. Don't answer the door. What does it all mean?
And the experiences of the Dark Echoes hosts the shared dream, the fog, the glitches. It really hammers home how thin that line can be between observer and participant, between the story and, well, reality.
It's almost like digging into this mystery, focusing on it, has somehow pulled them into its orbit, into its shadow.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could a radio frequency, something we think of as just waves in the air, could it really be what they said? A door?
A conduit, too. Something else. Something operating outside our normal understanding of physics and communication.
It definitely leaves you thinking about the limits of our understanding, maybe, and about that final warning. If you hear knocking tonight, what do you do? It's a question that sort of sticks with you long after you stop listening.